ToRaH Garden, speaking the absolute truth. ToRaH Nation.
Shalom, Yashar'el. It's time for the push. It's time for the push. It's time for the push. Yahuwah's called me to cry loud and spare not. Lift up a trump. Lift up your voice like a trump in Zion. Lift up your voice like a trump in Zion. It's time to birth. It's time to come forth. It's time to be established in Yahusha's witness. Listening to none other than HezekiYAH. Song is entitled "The Woman in Travail." I don't own the rights to this music. It's in the push. Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I give you praise. I pray that you would take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. And I pray that I will not cause anyone to stumble and no one to be turned out of the way. No one to come up lame. Yahuwah, your word is a lamp unto our feet, a light into our pathway. The entrance of the ToRaH gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. How can a young man cleanse his ways but by taking heed to the ToRaH, the Basorah? Yahuwah, I am here as a man of Yahuwah, called by you to warn your people. Let them know that in this hour they must receive the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. They must be established in TRAVAIL, TRAVAIL, TRAVAIL. Yahuwah, they must understand the necessity of this witness. Understand the necessity of the Ruach HaKodesh. It is what's going to bring us forth. It is what's going to birth us. It is what's going to take us to the kingdom of Yahuwah. Yahuwah, you require us to remain, to continue, to dwell in this witness in order to endure to the end. You called us to participate. And Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, by the Ruach HaKodesh, I am serving you in the Ruach of holiness. And Yahuwah, I give you praise. Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Push, 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 push. Come on, Yashar'el. We are the children. Listen. You must endure tribulation. Push! Tribulation is not an enemy, it's your friend. It's pushing you forth. Push, 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 push. Hallelujah. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen, we in it. Right? We in it to win. We are in it to endure to the end. Right? We are in this to endure to the end. We are in this to remain, to continue and dwell under the rulership and the leadership of the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh. We are in to win. Well, we got to push. We got to push. We can't turn back. You got to push. You got to move forward. You got to push. Right. You can't let the baby stay in the womb. You got to push. Baby's got to come out. Listen, Yahuwah has woke up his people. Right? They know who they are. Right? But they got to push. They got to receive the witness. And they got to go forth in the witness. And they got to birth forth this kingdom of Yahuwah. Push. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, it's a push. 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 And again, this witness demands our participation. right? Yahuwah has given those who have asked the Ruach HaKodesh, as like he has given those who have asked salvation. Yes, the Ruach HaKodesh, right? He's giving it to us, right? But we got to work. We got to endure. We got to do those things that promote discipline. And we got to do this to the end. We can't turn back. You can't turn back. He has no pleasure in them to turn back. He has no pleasure in them to turn back. We got to push. We got to push. And listen, Yahuwah by the Ruach HaKodesh has given us everything we need to get the job done. Right? Right? He's got everything you need to get the job done. Right? Right? It's like a mechanic. Like a mechanic has all the tools that he needs to get the job done. But the mechanic goes up to the car and says, well, you know, you got a problem. I got tools. You got a problem in your car. Yeah. Obvious problem. I got tools. Well, what you gonna do? What you mean what I'm gonna do? Well, I got a problem in my car. I need the mechanic. You got the tools. Yeah. Well, you gonna work on my car so that my car can run? No, I ain't doing that. But you got the tools. And you basically understand what you need to do. And what you don't know it, you can consult, right? Right? You got a consultant, someone that you can turn to that can assist you, right? Yeah. But you ain't gonna use the tools. No. Well, you ain't worth anything to me. I need a mechanic that got tools that's going to work with the tools that he has to get the job done. If you can't use the tools that you have been provided to get the job done and consult with, right, someone who understands the tools and the nature of the job, right, and you refuse to, I don't need you. I'll go to a mechanic who has the tools, who has the consulting to assist, right? And has the desire, the motivation to get the job done. He has everything he needs, but he has the passion and the desire to get the job done. This witness. For all those who receive it, who endure having received the tools. He's giving you the Ruach HaKodesh and all that is attached with that. The comforter, someone that will assist in you being able to do what you do in order to get the job done. You have that, right? You have everything you need, to get the job done. But if you choose not to do the job, you choose to turn away from the job, what good are you? What good are you to the owner of the shop? What good are you to the owner of the shop? No, you fired. You terminated. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen, this Ruach HaKodesh that Yahuwah is telling you that you must receive, this witness, right? This witness requires your participation. This Ruach HaKodesh ain't going to get in you and do everything without your participation, right? This Ruach HaKodesh ain't going to move in you without your participation. He ain't going to do nothing for you unless you participate. unless you actively participate in this Yeshua. You have to participate. It requires action, right? Faith without works is dead. The Ruach HaKodesh requires your participation. It requires your action. It requires you to release your emunah, right? Right? Prayer and fasting, right? Meditating on the word of Yahuwah, right? Constantly putting yourself in a place where you could be used by the Ruach HaKodesh. That's what you do. And if you do that until the end, you will be kept. But if you fail to do those things, right, then you're not going to listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. You're not going to obey Yahuwah. You're not going to see Yahuwah is giving you all that you need. The Ruach HaKodesh gives you what you need to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. See, when you receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, there's no, I have a problem with keeping ToRaH. No. When you receive the Ruach HaKodesh, you have everything you need to stand in the ToRaH of truth and keep it. You have to meditate on that, with soaring that ToRaH. You got to pray. You got to fast. You got to do the things that Yahushua told the Pharisees and the Sadducees, his disciples, didn't need to do now because he was with them. But once he left, they were going to need to do it because they were going to be faced with situations that demanded fasting and praying. That's going to keep them rock solid in the midst of tribulation. Because, listen, tribulation works. It's designed to work. Pressure. It's designed to work. It moves you towards faith in the witness of Yahusha. It moves you towards prayer. It moves you towards fasting. It moves you towards disciplining yourself in the word. You got to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom. 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 You have to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom. 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 You got to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. You have to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. And then you have to participate. You have to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh is not going to run roughshod over you. You receive the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh ain't going to run roughshod over you. It's not going to run over you. It's not going to make you do anything. It's not going to compel you to do anything. The Ruach HaKodesh is going to provide leadership and direction, but you have to walk it out. You have to discipline yourself. The Ruach HaKodesh ain't going to work apart from your spiritual discipline. Listen, the Ruach HaKodesh in you was designed to give you what you need to get the job done. You got gifts. You got gifts of the Ruach HaKodesh. All of these things working together. The Ruach HaKodesh has been given to you in order for you to do what you need to get the job done for Yahuwah. Right? You got a commitment. You got to participate. You got to do what is right. You got to do what is right. Listen. We're in Corinthians, the 10th chapter. Right? Corinthians, the 10th chapter. Right? And Shaul, in Corinthians, the 10th chapter, begins to expound on himself. He's a Moreh of Yahuwah. He's an apostle of Yahuwah. He talks in reference to who he is, right? He says here in that first verse, now I, Paul, myself, beseech you, I beg you, right? By the meekness and gentleness of a Mashiach, I beg you, by my meekness and the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, right? Who in presence based among you, in his presence, I'm based among you, right? Now, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. He says in meekness, right? He says, I beg you in meekness. Let's look at meekness in the Greek.
Strong's G 4236. Prates.
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 It is gentleness, right? It is mildness. It is meekness, right? So Paul in humility, because by implication, it means humility. I'm humble before you in humility, right? Right? He says gentleness, right? So meekness and gentleness are closely related. So he uses the word meekness and gentleness, but they're both similar in that a gentleness in the Greek is
Strong's G 1932. EPIKEYAH.
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 Which means mildness, gentleness, and fairness. Right? Mildness, gentleness, and fairness. I am fair with you. I am gentle. Right? I am meek. Right? But I am fair. Right? I am fair. Now listen. He says, who in presence, right? And that word presence, I mean before him. I think that word presence is
Strong's G
like
4383. Prosopon.
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 The face, the front of the human face. So present means I'm before you, face to face. Right? I'm present before you, face to face. The front of the human head. The face of far forth as it is the organ in the sight, organ of sight and by various movements and changes. Okay. The appearance or presence of the wealth or prosperity or rank, outward circumstances. So the idea is that I'm present with you. I'm present. I'm face to face with you. I mean, in this relationship of meekness and fairness, right? I am not there, but yet I'm present with you because you beheld me. You know who I am. I'm elaborating on myself in relationship to you, right? He says presence base. What does it mean by base, right?
Strong's G 3303. Men. Man.
Right? He says the word is man. Truly, certainly, surely, indeed. So I am surely, presently, I am surely, certainly, truly, right? Right? In your presence. Right? Among you. I'm not physically there, but you know who I am. Because you've seen me. You know how I operate. You know how I speak. You know because this witness that I have declared unto you, the time that I spent with you, right, revealed to you who I am and whose I am, Yahushua HaMashiach's witness, his apostle, right? And I am base. I am clearly seen, right? I am certainly, surely, indeed, presence before you. You know me, right? Shaul says, you know who I am. You know the man that I am. He says, among you, but I'm absent and bold towards you. So you know me face to face. Because, sometimes, people judge you by what you look like. Right? They do. They judge you by what you look like. Right? They judge you on what they see. Right? They judge you on what they see. They judge you by your actions. They judge you by how you speak. Right? Shaul was able to become all things to all men that he might win some. Shaul spoke several languages. Shaul could appeal to the barbarian, to the Greeks. He became all things to all people that he might win some. Right? So Shaul had a persona. He had something about him. And Shaul says, listen, I'm present with you, but yet I'm not physically in you. I'm not physically before you. But I'm bold towards you. I'm bold towards you. When I say something, I mean it. I'm bold towards you. And then people consider you. They look at you. There's different things about people that, like for me, right? People oftentimes, right, who don't know you, right? You in a community setting or something, you're a man of stature. You're a Hebrew, but to them you're a black man. They judge you. You're big. Can they take you? Especially European males. It's interesting because, I've pretty much been this way most of my life. Of course, I was probably about 20 pounds lighter, but I've always had a no-nonsense look about me. Once you knew me, then, it's all good. But, I always had a no-nonsense look about me. So, it was funny because, I used to ride motorcycles. I still ride motorcycles. But I used to ride with Europeans most of the time. Bikers, right? And, they always assessing you, they say occasionally, man, I could take you. And I used to say, in your imaginations, you can do a whole lot of things. But in reality, that's another thing altogether. You understand that? And they say, oh man, I'm just playing with you. Yeah, but they're always judging you on your appearance, right? They assess you by what they see, right? People do that all the time. They assess you based on what they see. They might go, well, oh, she is. Oh man, she fine, right? But on the inside, she's dirty, right? Empty, right? Messed up. Walking around with a number of Ruachs. She done got transfers from a number of men. But they assess you. They assess you. Shaul says, listen, being absent, I am bold towards you. Yeah, you know me. And I'm not physically there, but I'm still who I am. I'm bold towards you. He says, but I beseech you. I beseech that I may not be bound when I am present with the confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we walk according to the flesh. Now, evidently, Shaul, he was contending with people, right? Who was like, oh, well, you know, this is Shaul. This ain't the Ruach HaKodesh. This is about his flesh. You know. I'm confident. Shaul's confident in his flesh, but he knows he has the Ruach HaKodesh and Yahudah. But you know, people are sizing you up all the time, sizing Shaul up. You know, like yeah, he can talk a big game, but you know, what he gonna do when he get here? Right. So he says, but I beseech you, you was adding, that I may not be bold when I am present. See, I'm bold now, but I don't want to cross that intensity. Cross that line of intensity when I get with you. Right? He says, because I have confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some. You know, because you got those people that are talking against what I'm trying to accomplish in you, right? They're striving against it. They're causing division. He said, but you know, I'm confident, right? He says, wherewith I think to be bold against some, right? Which think of us as if we walk according to the flesh. Yeah, I know that everybody's not like this, but you know, you got those, right? You got those. Everybody's not like that, but you got those. You sit back and say, yeah, he think he's something. Yeah, he can talk that game. He can talk with that force in a letter when he ain't there, but what about when he get here? Because you know, I tell him to his face, you ain't getting my money. Because, you know, this is all about Shaul. This is what he wants. Right? He wants us to get enough. He wants us to give out of our abundance. Yeah. He's sending us this letter. Okay, we'll see. Shaul's okay. He says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war against the flesh. Right? Shaul's like, no, you know, you sitting here thinking about my moves. Right? You're considering my stature. Right. Shaul wasn't a big dude. Shaul was a short dude. I think he was kind of short. Right. I think he wasn't notable. He wasn't the nobility kind of Saul kind of guy, you know, stature. You know, even Dawid was a little on the shorter side, but Dawid was, you know, he wasn't Dawid. Shaul was. Shaul. Right. He was Shaul. But listen, Shaul said, listen, we don't war after the flesh. Yeah, you know, you talking strong. You know, you got some out there that's talking strong about me, but you know, I don't have to come to them in the flesh. You know, I ain't coming to, you know, you got to worry about me throwing blows. I don't war after the flesh, right? You ain't got to worry about me pulling a gun or a knife, right? Because I don't war after the flesh. And see, this right here, right? This right here, right? Because there's a time in the season for whatever Yahuwah has for you. You know, maybe a time when, you know, we going to have to raise up swords. You know? Right? But Shaul says, listen, when I come to the assembly, I ain't coming to do that. I ain't coming to fight with nobody. You know, I ain't coming to, you know, this ain't that kind of thing. Right? He said, listen. We don't fight in the flesh. He says, listen, for the weapons of our warfare, not carnal. Right? See, carnal weapons are that which is made by hand. Right? That which was made by hand. Right? That was constructed, shapen by hands. Right? Carnal. We don't go to war like that. Right? He says, for the weapons of our warfare are not this. Right? But but mighty through Yahuwah. Now, we know that Dawid was mighty through Yahuwah as he wielded his sword. Point blank period. There's a time and a season for everything under the sun. Right? Because Yahuwah put his Ruach in Dawid and gave strength unto the choice men of Dawid to be able to do the things under the Ruach of might. Because it was because it was to protect the nation, his people. Yahuwah's choosing people, right? Against their enemies. But Shaul was like, look, man, listen. There's no need for carnal weapons here. Weapons of our warfare are carnal. See, we don't rely on carnal weapons. We don't rely on them. If Yahuwah gives command for us to use them, then, one will put 1,000 to flight, two will put 10,000 to flight, right? But if he tells us not to, one still will put 1,000 to flight, two will still put 10,000 to flight. Because we have a Ruach on the inside that is larger than who we are on the outside. This Ruach in us is mighty through Yahuwah to the pulling down of strongholds. So I don't worry about people. Shaul was like, look, I know you got them brothers out there that's still talking about me, right? I understand, but let them know, I'm going to be there. But when I come, I ain't coming with no weapons that are carnal. I'm saying I'm not doing that. Because what I have is mighty through Yahuwah. I have the Ruach HaKodesh because ye shall receive power after the Ruach HaKodesh come upon you. Exousia, delegated authority. Dunamos, explosive, inherent power. I ain't worried about y'all. This is my work. This is what Yahuwah has called me to do. Listen. I ain't worried about y'all. Yahuwah has called me to cry loud and spare not, lift up my voice like a trumpet and dying, to tell his people they need to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. They need to be established in the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. And that's what he's called me to do, and I'm going to preach it. I ain't worried about y'all. I ain't worried about those who have something negative to say. I ain't worried about them. I don't concern myself with that. Because Yahuwah will stop the mouths of those who speak against his Ruach and his prophet. See, my weapons aren't carnal. They're mighty through the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah. They pull down strongholds. See, I'm like Shaul. Listen. I ain't worried about what y'all think about me. Right? Because at any rate, at any time, any day of the week, if Yahuwah takes me to you in the Ruach HaKodesh, it ain't about weapons. They carnal. But the Ruach of Yahuwah, that'll pull down some strongholds. The Ruach of Yahuwah can have you speak a word in. You can speak life and death at the decree of Yahuwah by the Ruach HaKodesh, and you're going to get either or. The weapons of Yahuwah are mighty. See, Yahuwah has wisdom. He's giving you his Ruach of wisdom and knowledge and understanding, counsel, might, knowledge and fear of Yahuwah. He's giving you weapons. by his spoken word. By the Ruach HaKodesh, in the authority of Yahushua Mashiach. Shaul's like, look, man. It's mighty through God, mighty through Yahudah, through the pulling down the strongholds. He said, would I possess this authority, this power, this weapon, these weapons, right? They cast down imaginations. Now, what are imaginations? Casting down is to bring down, right? Let's look at that.
Strong's G 2507. Kathareo.
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 Is to take down. Without the notion of violence. To detach. They said from the cross is crucified, right? It says, two, with the use of force, to throw down, to cast down, to pull down, right? To pull down, right? To use force to cast down, right? Now, Shaul says, listen, I ain't even got to use violence to cast this down, to pull this down. Because the Ruach HaKodesh in me is going to move, right? He says imagination. What? Imaginations, casting down imaginations, right? What is this? What is this?
Strong's G 3053. Lagismas.
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 A reckoning, a computation. I'm casting down, tearing down computations, reckonings, reasonings, such as hostile to the Mashiach, right? On judgments, decisions, such as conscious passes. I'm casting them down, right? I'm casting them down, right? These reasonings. Oh yeah, Shaul ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, he talking strong in a letter, but you know, he ain't gonna do nothing when he get here. Yeah, he getting on everybody talking about they need to give out of their abundance. But what he gonna do when we get here and he find that we ain't doing it? What he gonna do? Right? Shaul says, I'm gonna come and cast down imagination. I'm gonna bring your reasoning to naught. See, because I don't have to come with weapons to do violence. I don't operate like that. I don't have to raise a sword at you and threaten you to do a thing. You know, I by the Ruach HaKodesh, I deal with your imaginations. I cast those down. Those thoughts. I bring them under the subjection of the Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah. I got power in the Shamayim. And your breaths, because Yahuwah, whatever I bind on the earth should be bound in the Shamayim. Whatever I loose on the earth is loosed in the Shamayim. Listen, I got weapons, but they're not carnal, right? They cast out imaginations and every lofty thing that exalt itself against Yahuwah. See, that which exalts itself, thinking that it knows more than Yahuwah. Right? Thinking that you know more than Yahuwah, right? I cast that down. Anything that wants to exalt its agenda, its thoughts, its reasonings against the Most High Yahuwah, they coming down. Because it's the Ruach HaKodesh in me, right? It's that weapon that is not carnal but mighty through Alua. And the Ruach HaKodesh pulls down strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thought, every imagination and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of you. You think you know more than you. You think you know better than you. Yeah. I'm gonna bring that thought down. Right? And bringing into captivity every thought. See, every thought is going to be subject, brought into bondage, right, to the obedience of Yahushua when I come. Because I come with power. So you can think what you want. You can look on my stature. You can size me up and think you know me. But you know what you see. You know what you see, but you know. There's more to this than meets the eyes. More to this meets the eyes. There's power in me. There's a Ruach in this power. See, that's why, I don't sweat things. I just do what you would tell me to do. You two would tell me to preach something different. I'm going to preach something different. And declare the word of Yahuwah. Yahuwah tells me, listen, I woke up this morning praying in the Ruach. Praying in the Ruach. Yahuwah said the same thing over to me. Shalom. 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 That my people know that they need to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Do not change your course. And he said some things to me about the continent. It is time. He said some things about some other things that I thought I might be. Because you just do what I told you to do. Just continue in what you have received of me, and I will be pleased. That's it. See, and this comes with authority. Yahush's delegated me as the prophet to carry this word of the witness of Yahushua Mashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh. You can say what you want against me, but I cast down imagination and every high thought that would exalt, and every high thing that would exalt itself against the knowledge, though knowing better than what Yahuwah has given to me to give to the people. I'm not sure that's Yahuwah. Listen, don't listen to that Negro. Yahuwah ain't telling them that. Exalting yourself against knowing what Yahuwah has said to the prophet. You fool, you gonna be judged. You ain't gonna cast down imaginations in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yahuwah. I bring into captivity every thought unto the obedience of Yahushua Mashiach. You will not do that. Shaul says, and having in a readiness to revenge. All disobedience. Listen, the Ruach in me is ready to revenge. All disobedience. Listen. He's ready to revenge. He didn't say he was avenging. He says he's ready to revenge. That
Strong's G 1556. Ekdikeo.
I am ready to ekdikeo, right? To vindicate one's right to do justice. I'm ready to do justice. I'm ready to protect and defend a person from another, to punish a person for a thing, I am ready to vindicate the right. And what is the right? The right is what Yahuwah has called him to do. And that is to bring an offering to Jerusalem. Right? Even though you got these people who want to argue and get upset about it. I see, you got to understand now, this 10th chapter works synergistically with the 9th and the 8th. Gifts, giving, right? You got people in there like, man, he talk a good game. He act like he tough. We'll see when he get here. Oh, man, he says, listen. He said, and having a readiness to avenge all disobedience. I'm going to bring justice. Yahuwah's justice against everybody that thought they can exalt themselves against what Yahuwah has said. Justice, justice, revenge, revenge against everyone who speaks and righteously against the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Listen, to avenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. When you come through with your offering, then I'm going to avenge. I'm going to bring justice. See, because their obedience is fulfilled when they complete what they were given and tasked to do. And you know, I'm gonna render justice to those who thought they could exalt themselves against what Yahuwah has purposed. Right? He says, do you look at things after the outward appearance? Are you making your judgments of me based on what you see? If any man trusts to himself that he belongs to Hamashiach, says he is Hamashiach's with an apostrophe S, meaning belonging to the Hamashiach. Let him of himself think this again. You think you belong to Mashiach, right? And you're calling into question the knowledge of Yahuwah and what Yahuwah is doing through his apostle and what he's directing his apostle to do to the church, to the assemblies at Corinthians. Right? You who think you belong to Hamashiach, right? Let him of himself think this again, that as he's Hamashiach's, even so we Hamashiach. Listen, you think you following Yahushua Hamashiach in this? You better think again, because, you know, we are doing what we're doing because of Hamashiach. You want to call me into question. You want to look at me and make a determination by what you see, this outward appearance, right? That I am in my flesh. You come in with your imaginations. You're spreading your vanity. But listen, when they comply in obedience, I'm going to avenge your disobedience. It's going to get taken care of. Right? He says, for though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, listen, though you're sitting up here questioning my authority, and though maybe I should boast more of my authority. He said, which ADONI YAHUSHA has given me. Listen, YAHUSHA called me to do what I'm doing. He met me on the road to Damascus. He appeared before me at Felix's. I got the word from Yahudah. I'm doing what he told me to do. Right? I'm doing what he told me to do. I got authority. You, on the other hand, you have been introduced to this witness through me. You received Yeshua. You received the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh through me. And I can boast over that. I could boast. But, he says, which ADONI YAHUSHA have given us for edification. He's given it to us for your edification. He's given us what we are, who we are for you. And not for your destruction. Because, you barking up the wrong tree. This witness is about the edification of those who receive it. This giving, this administration, right, is commanded of you. Not by commandment, order, but Shaul has, like Yahudah gave a ToRaH, said, thou shalt give an offering. Shaul, the man of Yahudah, requested the offering to be given to the church at Jerusalem in Judea because of the struggling, poverty, and problems that we're having. You have some people that feel like, gotta give for it. He says, and not for your destruction. I should not be ashamed. Listen. What you saying now? Right? Because I got authority. Right? ADONI YAHUSHA gave it to me to edify you. Right? It's not for your destruction, but don't put yourself in a position with me to where Yahudah destroys you because of how you are against the knowledge of Yahudah. Because of what you're doing in direct opposition to the knowledge of Yahudah. You don't want to be ashamed. Yahudah ain't going to let me be ashamed. See, I got weapons of warfare. They ain't carnal, but they're mighty through Yahudah to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalted itself. Because the knowledge of Yahudah, listen. I could boast. I'm not here to boast. You need to do what you need to do because Yahudah brought me for your edification. I ain't at your destruction. But you ain't going to let me be ashamed. I'm telling you, man, when you understand what the Ruach HaKodesh is and what it represents, see, that's what I mean, I just know what Yahuwah's Ruach is, what it does, how it performs. I know what it looks like because he's given it to me so that I can teach you what it looks like, so I can reveal to you what it looks like. He says, that I may not be seen as if I would terrify you by a letter. I'm not trying to terrify you by no letter. I mean, I came last time strong and hard, you know. I ain't trying to do that again. Right? He says, for letter, say they, right, weightier and powerful, but bodily presence weak and speech contemptible. Man, they talking wolf tickets. They selling wolf tickets. They say, yeah, old Shaul, right? Shaul can put a letter there, boy. He could put you in your place in a letter. All right? Put your place in the letter. Right? Yeah, because, you know, they're kind of weighty and powerful, right? But we know what this brother looks like. This brew is short. He all frail looking. And his speech is contemptible. The man stutters. But Yahusha chooses the despicable, the contemptible things to confound those that are wise, eloquent, knows how to articulate things. Right? Shaul comes with power and demonstration. See, they looking at him from the outward appearance. They sizing him up. Boy, he coming here talking that mess. I'm gonna take him. I can take that little man. He can't even talk. Shaul said, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. This Ruach HaKodesh in me. He's weak. Listen, right? Yahuwah chooses people because he knows what he has. Yahuwah doesn't choose people based on the outward appearance. He doesn't choose you for your educational academia. He doesn't choose you because you get all A's, was able to get a master's and a doctorate. He doesn't care about that. You don't care about that. You don't care about your seminaries, your cemeteries. You don't care about that. You don't care about that. He wants people who will say what he wants them to say. He wants people that are going to teach, to preach what he wants them to preach, what the word is, the message is for the hour, for the time, for the season. Not for you to go off in your own agendas and coming up with all kinds of things that you just want to teach. See, that's the difference between being led by the Ruach HaKodesh and hearing Yahuwah's word and being that man of Yahuwah that says what Yahuwah says. No agendas here. So Shaul says, in that 11th verse, let such an one think this, that such as we are in word by letters, when we are absent, such also indeed when we present. Don't get it twisted. I come in the same power and authority that exists in the letters that I write in person. Same authority. And just because, I'm on the short side, just because I look a little frail, just because I may not speak as good as on Apollos, make no mistake about it. There's no difference from the letter to the man in person. That man's going to declare the word of Yahuwah. And he's going to revenge. After your obedience, he's going to revenge. He's going to judge. He's going to bring justice. Yahuwah told me, you are my guardian, my avenger. You are my kinsman redeemer. You are God all. Because, I say what you would tell me to say in person into your face. Y'all see me, you see me on the YouTube, I ain't got no problem telling you this to your face. I ain't got a problem with telling you what the word of Yahuwah say. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I don't have a problem with it. Because Yahuwah, by the Ruach, this is giving me a commandment to give this word. And then giving this word, you're gonna run into the people who gonna say what they say about you. Listen, I don't speak eloquently. I make up words sometimes. I do ebonics. And my Greek and Hebrew pronunciation is eh. But see, I have what Yahuwah is giving me in his Ruach HaKodesh, and that's all I need to get the job done. That's why I'm going to continue to preach this witness, because he's giving me what I need to get the job done. Yeah. No, I may not go to your school of Hebrew. Nah. May not. I might not enjoy your teaching sessions. No. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. No, I'm just telling you me. I do what Yahuwah tells me to do. I just don't freelance. I don't freelance. I don't do stuff on my own. No, I don't freelance. I do stuff on my own. I go anywhere Yahuwah tells me to go. I minister to any people that Yahuwah tells me to go to minister to. Oh, yeah. Anywhere. Anybody Yahuwah calls me to minister to. I don't freelance. So just because you ask me, I'm going to go before Yahuwah. Fast and prayer, Yahuwah said go. Then I'm going to let you know, listen, Most High consulted with Yahuwah. He told me to go. What time, what date? I don't freelance, though. I don't freelance. Do what you would tell me to do. I go where you tell me to go. So, he says, listen, don't think it's going to be different. He said, let such a one think this, that, such as we are in word by letters, when we are absent, such also indeed when we present. Ain't that changed? He says, for we dare not make ourselves of the number or compare ourselves with someone that commended themselves. You know, we don't compare ourselves with people who commend their own selves, toot their own horns. You tooting your own horn. I don't number myself amongst them. I don't compare myself with them. He says, but they measure themselves by themselves. They measure what they do by their own achievements and accomplishments, right? They measure themselves by their degrees. Right? They measure themselves by their education. And Yahusha said, nah, I don't do that. I don't compare myself with myself. He says, and comparing themselves among themselves, are they not wise? Are not wise? He said themselves are not wise. You comparing yourself with yourself, amongst yourself, it ain't wise. I ain't comparing myself to you. I ain't comparing myself to what you do. Right? That ain't wise. He says, but we will not boast of things without measure, but according to the measure of the rule which Yahudah has distributed unto us. See, we are not going to boast without measure. We ain't going to boast on things without measure. We just ain't going to go off in this praise thing of what we do. It's always praising ourselves and our accomplishments and our achievements. You know, esteeming ourselves, putting ourselves in the limelight, making ourselves as if we're something. Yahusha, that's not us. We don't compare ourselves with others that do that. That's not wise. He says, but we will boast of things without measure, but according to the measure and the rule of Yahudah. We're going to compare ourselves to what we do. What we do. Not what others do. Who compare themselves with others. We ain't compare ourselves with nobody. We compare ourselves to what Yahudah is doing in us. We compare ourselves with ourselves. But we will not boast of things without measure, but according to the measure of the rule of Yahudah has distributed unto us. Right? A measure to reach even unto you. Right? So Yahudah is distributed unto us. Right? The Ruach, the witness. Right? And we've given that to you. He's given it to us. We've given it to you. Right? He says, 14th verse, for we stretch not ourselves as though we reach not unto you. Right? For we are come as far as to you also in this Besorah of Hamashiach. He said, listen, we went to you. We reached to you. We didn't compare ourselves to anybody. We reached to you. Right? Not boasting of things without measure. Right? Of other men's labors. Right? But having hope when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you according to our rule abundantly. Look, the goal is to get you to a place because of what we preached, because of how we served you. He said, listen, for we stretch not ourselves beyond, as though we reached not unto you, for we are come as far as to you also with the Basora of Hamashiach. We went as far as Corinthians. We went as far as you with this witness. Right? This is what we did. And you are our proof that the witness that we brought to you worked. You know, you still got them people that's questioning whether or not, Shaul is what Shaul says. Right? He says, to preach the Basora in the regions beyond you. Not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hands. So Shaul's like, listen, man, we went as far as Corinthians with this witness. We went into Macedonia. We went places in this witness that we went to you with. But we didn't stop with you. We established you. We got you in this witness. But we went beyond that. Doing what Yahuwah has called us to do. Not comparing ourselves with others. I don't compare myself with Peter and the 12. I don't compare myself with Barnabas. I definitely don't compare myself to Apollos. He got his own lane. We got our own line. And where we go, we produce fruit. You know this because you are our record. We've gone beyond you. And this is not to boast. We don't boast in what somebody else has done. We don't boast in what somebody else has done. We boast in what Yahuwah has done for us. Listen. Yahuwah has called me to preach this witness. Just like I preach it. I know and anticipate. Oh, it's going to another level. Because he said it. Right? Shalom. He says this coming a fresh anointing, a fresh Ruach anointing. Shavuot is a time of anointing. It's a time of Pentecost. There is a fresh anointing coming. Shavuot. It's another level. And you must be in his witness. You must have the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? You must be in his witness, and you must be prepared to go. And I'm not just talking about go to the continent, though, going to the continent is probably a better way to go. But, I ain't going to do that till you will tell me to. But when it's time for me to go to the continent. Yeah, I don't want to be here in Babylon. I don't want to be here in Mitzrayim. No, I'm ready to come out from among her. But you know what? I know that ain't coming out from us, from her. Yahuwah has to put some things in place. Just don't run recklessly. I'm led by the Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, he told me. He told me. He told me. Yeah, there's ground to pave on the continent. See, we are here in America, right? And you always reveal some things to me, right? Because I got some friends and I got some family, right? And but they're comfortable in Babylon. They comfortable here. They're comfortable here. They don't want to move. They don't want to leave. They're comfortable in their cities. They're comfortable in their states. They're comfortable in their towns. They're comfortable. And Yahuwah ain't gonna move them. He's gonna let them go. He's gonna let them go through the suffering. He's gonna let them go through that struggle. He's gonna let them go through it because you know what? He's gonna let them. Because they made choices. Listen. You better get a clue. And I mean, my family. Y'all better get a clue. You better understand what you're doing and what you in. You better read the handwriting on the wall. You better see you better see what's coming. Better see what's coming. I was talking to my cousin. I love my cousin, man. Me and my cousin talk. We have a good time. Right. I was talking to my cousin. He called me out of the blue. Kind of caught me by surprise. I was like, man, wow. But he called me. I was riding my bike. Get my bike ride in the morning. And then he called me. He was like, hey, how you doing down here? Just gonna call you, man. I said, oh, man, what's going on? We got to talk, he's getting over his mother passing, and that comes with that, but he's doing well. He's doing good. He's doing well. We got to talking about some things, and told me one time, man, you ought to come down here and move to Florida. He's like, yeah, well, I want to come to Florida, but I got my mama. And I'm like, okay, well, Yahuwah knows. He ain't got his mama now, but he don't want to move. He's like, nah, man, I'm gonna stay right here in the rock. I'm not gonna leave. I'm like, he said, it's nice to come to Florida, but I don't know if I want to live in Florida. Yeah, well, I've been here almost 25 years. Been that long? Yeah, man. Listen, and if I ain't in here, I'm going to the continent. Oh, no, man. Going to Africa? Yeah, man. Man, them people don't want us over there. They don't want us there, Donnie. Yeah, man. Actually, they want us. And those who know that we are Judah know that we need to come. So, I'm going. Eventually, I'm going to get there. I love for them to go. But they're comfortable in Mitzrayim. They're comfortable in Babylon. Comfortable. It is what it is. I have to do what you would tell me to do. And I know now that I can't live with the desire of having other people to follow me as I follow Yahuwah. They got to do this. Shaul says, to preach the Besorah in the beyond. see, I know that I have to preach this Besorah. You know, I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, 3 years now. No, actually, I've done it on and off for about 6, 7 years. But it's got to go beyond. See, because Yahudah told me to wake up Yashar'el and Yahudah. They woke. People know they know they're the children of Yahudah, but they don't want to do anything about it. In order to do something about it, you have to receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, right? You know, there's some of them don't even want to be named Hebrews. They don't want to be named like Hebrew. I ain't no Hebrew. I'm an American. You was bought over here on slave ships. You ain't never been American. You'll never be an American. This is the land of your captivity. Listen. And Yahuwah is going to redeem those, right, that are in the lands of their captivity who have received his witness. So, yeah, you be here. Stay here. I want nothing to do with it. Because I see the handwriting on the wall. And you know, it's funny, right? They got this new movie out called Beast, right? They got this new movie coming out called Beast. And it's about this black man who takes his 2 daughters back to Africa. They had lost their mother, right? Back to Africa. And there's this man-eating, humongous lion terrorizing peoples in the tribes, just killing them. I said, now these Negroes in America, when they see this, they're going to be like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with Africa, man. You see that movie, Beast? And they don't even see what they're doing. They don't understand. The beast wants you to stay where you are. They don't want you to go to the continent. Listen, have you ever asked yourself, right? Why are so many Europeans trying to get to the continent? Why are so many Europeans trying to buy up country in the continent, property in the continent, right? But they don't want you to go. And you from, but they want it, right? They want it. France wants it. Britain wants it. Belgium wanted it. Spain and Portugal wanted it. All of them wanted it, right? They still want it. China wants it. But it's yours. And you don't want it. The Constitution tells you that this ain't your country. But you don't want to believe it, right? This is your place. Now, better get a clue. Yahudah said to me that you got to preach this witness. I'm going to preach this witness. Like Shaul said, I'm going to preach this Besorah in the beyond. It says regions. Beyond you. Not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to your hands, to our hands. I'm going to do it because you would call me to do it. Call me to do it. I got to do it. He says, but he that glorieth, let him glory in Yahuwah. I do this because Yahuwah, ADONI, YAHUSHA. Right? I do. Do it because of Yahuwah, ADONI, YAHUSHA. It's got to be done. It's witness. It's got to be done. It's witness. It's got to be done. For not he that commandeth himself is approved, but whom ADONI YAHUSH commends. I don't speak about myself. I go in. Tell you I'm going in. I don't toot my own horn. I go in. I say what thus saith the Lord, and once it's finished, thus saith the Lord. Thus saith Yahuwah. Tell you what Yahuwah says. He's still my Lord. He's still my Adonai. He's my Yahuwah. I go in and say what he wants me to say. I don't waste time. I don't get caught up in debates and arguments. It's a waste of time. I trust in Yahuwah's word. And I'm established in this witness. And it's Yahuwah that's going to command me. Like Shaul. You know, you can look on me. You can look on my statue. You can look on my outer appearance. I don't care. I don't care. You can listen to me use ain't and isn't, ain't and don't matter. Right? Don't matter. Still gonna do what I need to do because Yahuwah's told me to do it. And I'm gonna fulfill what he's called me to fulfill. So man of Yah, woman of Yah, that's 2 Corinthians 10th chapter in its entirety. 1 through 18. Shaul had to describe himself. This witness speaks for us. The Ruach HaKodesh speaks for us. And yeah, you're going to have people that's going to have their own opinion, own impression. They're going to formulate their own knowing. But this witness defines us. Our discipline in the witness, our discipline in this witness, our discipline in this witness, in this word, in this Besorah, our willingness to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh, to be guided by the Ruach HaKodesh, our willingness to participate in the kingdom of Yahuwah, in the gifts of Yahuwah. It's up to you. You got to receive this witness. Man of Yah, woman of Yah. Yahweh, I thank you for the words that you have given me. I have given them, and I pray in the Ruach HaKodesh that they would keep them. Yahuwah, I pray that every word that goes forth would bring life, peace, and medicine. I pray that every word that has come forth would quicken and make alive. Yahuwah, your word is a lamp unto our feet, and it is a light unto our pathway. And I pray that those that have received this word in Emunah would go forward in it and sharing the truth of this witness. Yahuwah, I pray that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. For Yahuwah, you are my strength and my redeemer. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. It's the Shabbat tomorrow. Listen, you know I love the Shabbat. Listen, I love the Shabbat. Listen, I live for the Shabbat. I do. I live for the Shabbat. And you know what? I live for an eternal Shabbat. I'm living for the purchased possession. Right? Yeah. I'm living to experience the end. But I realize that I got to endure. I got to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. I got to do those things that are going to cause me to be strengthened in tribulation. I got to understand that tribulation works. And at the end, I'm going to get some experience and some patience. Patience and some experience. And I'm going to make it to the hope. The hope of an eternal rest if I endure in the Ruach. And if I trust you to the end, because you got to endure to the end. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, called to greatness, woman of Yahuwah, beautifully and wonderfully made, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, listen, be blessed.
ToRaH Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. ToRaH Nation.